For the better part of 3 decades, the WNBA was losing money. Teams folded, viewership was just a fraction of the NBA's. From the outside, it looked like a league in serious trouble, constantly on the verge of collapse. Just a few years back, arenas were often half empty, and its a long-term survival was a real question. So how did franchise value suddenly explode by a reported 180% in a single year? And why are owners and players now refusing to back down from what's become one of the most incredible financial turnarounds in sports history? The answer shows us a massive shift where the fight is no longer about survival, but about who gets a slice of rapidly growing multi-million dollar pie, baby. To really get the scale of this turnaround, you have to understand just how bad things were. For most of his life, the WNBA has been defined by its financial struggles. And the league founded in 1996 was basically propped up by his big brother, the NBA, for decades. Back in 2018, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver revealed that the WNBA had lost over 10 million on average every year it had existed. And this wasn't just a rocky start, it was a long, sustained period of unprofitability that saw several franchises either shut down for good or move to another city in a desperate hunt for a market that worked. Teams like the Charlotte Sting, the Cleveland Rockers, and the original Miami Soul and Portland Fire all just vanished. And the message was loud and clear. The passion on the court wasn't turning into profit. Ownership was a revolving door, and investing long term was seen as a huge gamble. Even as recently as earlier 2024, despite a clear surge in public interest, the league was still reportedly operating at a collective loss. And the story from the outside was brutal. Critics will point to empty seats and low TV ratings as proof that women's pro basketball was a failed experiment. And the conversation was less about growth and more about life support. And for the players, this financial reality meant low salaries, forcing many of the league's biggest stars to play overseas in the offseason just to earn a living that matched their elite talent. And in 2024, the average salary was around 147,000, while the minimum was just over 70,000. And this was the major trouble in its purest form, a league stuck in a cycle of financial loss where its most important assets, the players, had to find their main income somewhere else. And it looked like a model doomed to fail. So, what changed? How does a league go from bleeding cash to being the hottest ticket in sports? It wasn't just one thing, but a perfect storm of cultural momentum, smart investment, and the arrival of a superstar who truly changed the game. The seeds were planted in college, where viewership for the NCAA women's basketball tournament started to blow up, pulling in millions of viewers. And this created a pipeline of not just talent, but of ready-made stars with huge built-in fan bases. And then came the one and only phenomenal legendary Caitlin Clark. So it's almost impossible to overstate the Caitlin Clark effect. And her record smashing run at the University of Iowa didn't just sell out college arenas, it became a national media obsession. And when she was drafted by the Indiana Fever in 2024, she brought that entire audience with her. All of a sudden, the Fever, a team that struggled for years, became must see TV. And their valuation reportedly saw the largest growth of any single franchise, with estimates putting their 2024 revenue at a nearly 300% increase over year, year over year. And their merchandise sales per person at games were reportedly higher than any team in the NBA. And their home games shattered attendance records with sellout crowds often exceeding 17,000 fans, a number that rivaled several NBA and MLB teams on given nights. But this wasn't just about one player. Clark was the spark that lit a fire that was already smothering, and the arrival of other high profile rookies like Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, alongside established stars like Aja Wilson and Brianna Stewart, created amazing rivalries and super teams. And the whole league got a lift, viewership, attendance, and merchandise. Sales exploded across the board. The WNBA was no longer a niche sport, it was now part of the main cultural conversation. And this wave of attention was the catalyst that set off a financial boom nobody saw coming. So let's talk numbers, right? Because the money behind this WNBA surge is just wow. This isn't just a little growth, it's a complete reevaluation of what the entire league is worth in just 1 year from 2024 to 2025, right? And when you look at it, the average value of a WNBA franchise reportedly skyrocketed by 180%, jumping from around 96 million to an average of nearly $300 million. And that's one of the largest single year valuations jumps for any major US sports league in history. And the league's 13 teams are now collectively worth a reported 3.5 billion. And at the very top of this money period is the brand new expansion team, right? The Golden Rorkies, uh, before even playing their first offseason, they were valued at a record-breaking 500 million, the highest of any women's sports franchise in history, and that was after paying a $50 million expansion fee. Projections suggest that the Rockies could generate over 70 million in revenue in 2025 alone, more than double what any WNBA team made in all of 2024. And they're selling court-side seats for an average of $1,500, a price right up there with some NBA teams. And they're not the only ones, because the New York Liberty's value soared to a reported 420 million, and the Indiana Fever, powered by the Clark phenomenon, hit a reported 335 million. Even teams at the lower end of the list are now worth nearly 200 million, and this incredible rise is backed by real money. A huge new media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon kicks in for the 2026 season and is set to pump about 2.2 billion into the league over 11 years. And that's an annual average of around 200 million, more than triple the current deal. Sponsorship revenue is projected to hit 100 million in 2025, and this isn't a bubble. It's a massive market correction, and the value was always there, hiding in plain sight now, and it has finally exploded. So here's where things get really interesting, right? Because with franchise value soaring and all this new money pouring in, why does the conversation still feel like it's about trouble? Because the trouble has changed. The fight is no longer about survival. It's a high stakes battle over a mountain of new wealth, and this is exactly why both the owners and the players refuse to quit. For an owner, selling a team right now would be selling like Amazon stock in 1999. And they're sitting on assets that are appreciating at a historic rate. And someone who bought a team for a few $1 million is now holding a franchise worth hundreds of millions. And the smart move isn't to cash out, it's to hold on and ride this wave. And with Toronto officially joining the league and expansion fee for future teams rumored to be climbing, owners see even more growth ahead. But for them, walking away now would be financial malpractice. And for the players, the stakes are just as high, because for years they were told the money just wasn't there for bigger salaries. They put up with low pay, brutal travel, and playing overseas just to keep the league alive. But now they see franchise values hitting 500 million and a new 2.2 billion media deal, and yet the players' share of the league's income is estimated to be only around 10%, a huge difference from the roughly 50% split their male counterparts get in the NBA. And this is the new conflict. The players' union is expected to opt out of the current collective bargaining deal, um, which will set them up for some very tense negotiations, this year, 2025. And they're not just asking for a raise anymore, they're demanding a complete change to how the money is shared. Not to mention, right, this Unrivaled League. Because when you really look at the Unrivaled League, um, it seems like the Unrivaled League is becoming the WNBA rivalry. Because look at it, man. Unrivaled is growing fast, and they're expanding their facilities in Miami, adding training spaces, and upgraded arenas. And the players make over 220,000 on an average last season. and they're set to earn more. And on top of that, equity. And that's a game changer. This isn't just about playing ball, it's about building wealth. And Unrivaled is already outperforming its revenue expectations and its tracking its growth plans, its fast tracking growth plans. What was supposed to be a 5-year roadmap is now on track to be completed in 3. And they're serious. They're doubling down on athletes, the facilities, league infrastructure, and the whole brand is taken right off in front of our eyes. Viewership wise, they're not touching the WNBA yet, but the WNBA is pulling over 1 million viewers on ESPN. Unrivaled is about 220,000 per game, with a peak at 364,000 for the championship. So let's be real, the Unrivaled is not there yet, but the overhead is way lower. And they're not flying commercial or charting jets to 30 different cities. It's a more controlled, lean business deal, and it's working. So I get why players don't want to stop Unrivaled, because if I had equity, if I was getting paid more and had ownership in something that's growing this fast, I wouldn't walk away either. It's like stock. And this is different because the WNBA needs to figure it out, because this isn't just as a side hustle anymore when it comes to Unrivaled versus the WNBA. This could take over. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the players already getting salary bumps and rival growing fast like this. And it's interesting because the jump, right? As you guys see, December 2024, the league had a valuation at 35 million. 9 months later, the league announced they had a valuation at 340 million. So then, when you look at this thing, Unrivaled closes oversubscribed Series B investment round, bringing league to valuation at 340 million. New investors in this round, right? So Unrivaled is making some serious moves. They got momentum. The young stars getting involved, and they're starting to feel like they're building something massive. Big names, major investments, and I'll be honest, it's happening. It's working. But look at the names they got, man. The talent is real. You know what I'm saying? We had the privilege of backing many category defining companies, and we believe Unrivaled is building the next great sports league. So there you have it, folks. You have Annie Castabel. Unrivaled valuation hit 340 million, 10 times X what it 10 times X what it was in the spring of 2024, which with its latest round of funding. The league doubled down its revenue projections from season 1, leading to salary increases across the board. And this is the article, Front Office Sports. Unrivaled, the women's professional 3-on-3 league, said Monday had closed a Series B investment, valuing the league at 340 million. League president Alex Basil declined to share specifics. Unlike the first 2 rounds, we were out in the market, and this one was organic. We weren't searching for more capital. We built a long enough runway to operate without it, but it was the right partner, who is the Bessemer, who is the biggest tech funds in the world. Serena Williams' fund, Serena Ventures, was involved in this round of funding, while Warner Bros. Discovery and Alex Morgan's Tri Ventures added to their previous investment in the league. So, man, we went to the WNBA early. Bezel said #1 told them about it, and they were certainly open to a partnership in terms of equity and ownership. It's really to draw the comparison, like what's going on between the TGL and PGA, and that's how we looked at it and approached it. So they're looking at it from the partnership when it comes to the golf league, because they're organic organizations with 2 different formats, right? The TGL is a tech-infused team-based indoor golf league founded by Tiger Woods. And the PGA is the traditional professional golf organization that hosts regular tournaments for individuals who play outdoor courses, right? And when you look at it from the golf standpoint, since they mentioning it, the benefits of the TGL and PGA Tour differ, because the PGA Tour offer more traditional career defining golfing, and TGL is more faster paced, team focused entertainment, right? So when you look at it, when it comes to a TGL, which is Tomorrow Golf League, players receive prize money based on their team's performance. Also hold equity in the league. When it comes to the original golf league, the traditional outside, they earnings provides a base income of $500,000 for exempt players. Income is earned primarily through tournament prize money, right? So it allows members to it's like a member trading program. It allows members to trade in their old equipment in exchange for shop credit when it comes to um the whole value guide program when it comes to PGA, right? And they have different programs where TGL, Tomorrow Golf League, complements the PGA schedule as part of the league's partnership with the tour. Um, and how they can work together is, if you really think about it, it's basically like a boost of player visibility, right? And it basically, how can I put it? It gives them development with more realistic and accurate technological experience because TGL is more indoors tech and PGA is more traditional. But let me know what you guys think, man, because it looks like, in my opinion, um, Unrivaled going to replace the WNBA, or is there room for both? Either way, let me know. Peace.